Welcome to 7 Boats Academy. Right now we will discuss about what is called a sitemap. Sitemap is a sort of index of a book. Like at the very beginning, you can know what are the chapters and what are the page numbers of those chapters. So you can easily understand how much time you require to cover the full book, or you can plan accordingly when or how to read a particular chapter according to the number of pages. Similar for a website, whenever search engines they start to crawl your web page, to crawl your website, they first try to find out the sitemap so that they can get to know the total number of pages you have in your website, and they can select the crawling frequency accordingly. Now there are three types of sitemap. The first one is called HTML sitemap, that is mostly for users. So if we check here with 7 boards, so we can see here at the bottom of the page, so we can see the sitemap link here. So if we click on sitemap, so we can see, so different pages are there, so we can see the full hierarchy. We can click on any page, we can view this page. So this is called the HTML sitemap, that is visible to users and they can browse any pages, any links on your website. Now for search engines, this is not required. They need it in a different format, that is called XML file. So what is XML file? XML is basically, it's a dynamic markup language where search engines can understand each and every time you'd update your website, you are adding a new page or adding a new blog post, automatically search engines can know from the XML file. XML file would automatically be updated as soon as you update your new page or new post. So from that file they can read, they can know that the last update time of your website, and accordingly they can set the crawling frequency. Now let us take an example of XML sitemap. Now for WordPress website, if we use WordPress Yoast plugin, then you don't have to do anything there. Automatically after installing and activating the Yoast plugin, you'd get the XML sitemap ready on your website. So for example, here we have logged into our dashboard, WordPress dashboard, and we have already installed and activated Yoast SEO plugin. We have discussed this earlier modules. Now in SEO section, if you see on XML sitemaps, you click on that. Now you can see the XML sitemap link here. You click on it, you open it. Now you can see the list of different sections like post sitemap, page sitemap, category sitemap and tag sitemap for your website. Now if you click on and you see the last modified date and time, and now if you click on post sitemap, you can see how many blog posts you have written. So you see 26 URLs are there. So Google can easily understand you have 26 blog posts, and these are the URLs. This is the priority. Normally for home page we keep the priority as 100%, and for other pages we keep it at 60%. You can see the number of images for every post. You see the change frequency. This is the tentative change frequency. By default they have been specified, but it is not mandatory that as per your frequency Google will crawl you. No, Google will crawl by seeing the last modification, last modified date and time, and accordingly they would set their own preferences. So this is a typical XML sitemap, it looks like. Now if you are not using WordPress website, either your developer should develop the XML file for you, or else you can go to another website that is called xml-sitemaps.com. Up to 500 pages, it's free, so you can put your URL over here, You can select your own frequency, but again the frequency actually depends on your updation time, modification time, and Google will set their crawling frequency accordingly, and that results you can see from Google Webmaster tool or Google Search Console that we will discuss later. And you can build these pages. So up to 500 pages is free, then it is a paid platform. So this is called the XML sitemap. Now what you need to do with this XML sitemap, you have to log into your Google Webmaster tool. If we search it, Google WMT, you see the Google Search Console, Google Webmaster tool, you click on that. So automatically you would be logged in. So I have already logged in here, so it would be directly redirecting me to the dashboard. And here, for example, say for this website you want to submit the sitemap, so you go there, you see the sitemaps sections here, you see the sitemap section here, you click on that, and what you need to do, you submit the sitemap here. So you submit the sitemap. So this should be your domain name, it should be matching with your page. So here we can see the sitemap here, like post-sitemap.xml, or you can do like this, sitemap_index.xml. so you just copy it, you paste it over here, and you just click on submit sitemap. So if you submit the sitemap to Google, then it will be easier for Google to crawl and index your website and to show it in search result sooner. So this is called XML sitemap. Now there is another type of sitemap, we called it KML sitemap. So that is called keyhole markup language. So we search here, that is also called geo sitemap. We type geositemapgenerator.com here. So if you have multiple branches, say for in India, if you have branches in Kolkata, in Mumbai, in Delhi, in Chennai, in Hyderabad, in Bangalore, so you just go here, geositemapgenerator.com, you click on start button, then you have to fill up your different branch details, and then you have to add other locations, and then you have to generate the KML sitemap. In the similar way, you have to go to your Webmaster tool and you add another sitemap here with the KML. So KML is called the keyhole markup language. So you can search here KML sitemap. So it's called keyhole markup language. So this is called keyhole markup language, a separate format for geolocation based, so different branch based websites. So sitemap is basically three types. One is called HTML or user sitemap, that is nowadays not that much required. For WordPress you can see the archive section by default. So see this URL, this is the archive, this is by default in WordPress, so you can get this HTML sitemap for WordPress. Otherwise your developer, they have to develop the HTML sitemap for users. And the XML sitemap from WordPress Yoast plugin, it is automatically generated. You have to just take the URL and submit it, and from XML sitemap generator, xml-sitemaps.com, from that site you can generate your XML sitemap, and then you download the sitemap XML and you need to upload it via FTP. Now what is the FTP? FTP means it's a free software you can download for Windows, for Mac, for Linux, and you can do it. So the left hand side, this is called your local server, and the right hand side, this is called your remote server. So you have to put your host name, username and password, and then you have to quick connect it, and then you can upload your XML sitemap to your root directory. So root directory is denoted by either in different format. So we can, if you connect to FileZilla, you can see either by this is called root, or you can see public_HTML folder, or you can see www folder, or you can see http docs folder, or you can see https docs folder. So these are kind of folder. This is called the root folder where your website is hosted. In this root folder you have to upload your XML sitemap file. If you want to do it manually by generating from XML sitemaps, xml-sitemaps.com. Otherwise, for Yoast plugin, if you are using WordPress, It is not necessary. It is not mandatory. Thank you.